Hi there, welcome back to the Boxing Objective. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the weekend's fight between Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Logan Paul. I thought it was entertaining, and no matter what side of the fence that you stand on, it created quite a lot of interest, and a lot of people probably just wanted to maybe see how it looked, wanted to know how it would turn out, or wanted to know if Floyd would get knocked out, wanted to know if Logan Paul would get knocked out, just wanted to know what would happen. And no matter what side of the fence you're standing on, a lot of people have got a lot to say about it. The boxing community, they're all putting in their opinions, the casual fans putting in their opinions, and I think given the amount of interest that has been created, I think it's fair to say that this exhibition was a success. Now, the numbers that this fight allegedly took seem to be considerably high, if they are indeed accurate. I know there was problems with some of the people who subscribed to watch the pay-per-view who couldn't get access to the event are going to be refunded, so that is going to bring down some of the numbers. But as it stands today, they claim that maybe in the US alone, this fight took between 600 to 650,000 pay-per-view buys, and that's not counting the pay-per-views that were broadcasted in other territories. That's just in the United States. So we all knew that this was ridiculous, right? We all knew that this was just an exhibition, but it's as if you put Floyd Mayweather's name in there and people's ears just perk up. Floyd's entire career, in my opinion, and I think many hardcore boxing fans would agree, I don't think you can take anything from Floyd's legacy. This does not take from Floyd's legacy, because Floyd's legacy is very much set, okay? I don't think it takes anything from it, personally. He made his whole career out of being a kind of a villain, you know? A lot of people who paid to watch Floyd fight was because they wanted to watch him lose. Those who paid to watch him lose, they haven't got their wish. Even now, there was still probably people saying, oh, this could be it. Is this the one that he's gonna lose? Now, even though, if you watch the fight back, Floyd, if there was to be a winner announced, Floyd won, okay? He did win. But the real winner is Logan Paul. It is Logan Paul, because he had no business being in there with arguably the greatest out-and-out boxer of all time. He didn't get knocked out. He even landed a shot or two. So I think you'll find that maybe Logan Paul, in the grand scheme of things, is the winner. Now, I think that Showtime are being quite savvy, to be honest. Showtime in America, I don't know about Logan Paul, but they've just signed some kind of big multi-fight deal with Jake Paul, who is the brother of Logan Paul, if you didn't know. And what that says to me is that they see the value in these guys. It's funny because that fight over the weekend, Floyd Mayweather got paid, Logan Paul also got paid, but Logan Paul got a bit of clout on his name, and boxing got a whole lot of attention. See, when Logan Paul first fought KSI, this was something that these guys' beef, you know, mustered up between them to culminate in a damn YouTuber boxing fight. And it's incredible how one of the major promotional companies in boxing looked at that and said, look at the numbers, look at what's happening there, and invested in the rematch. Now, the rematch had a mixture of obviously the main event being two YouTubers, and the undercard, I think there was even a actual competitive title fight on the undercard. And I think what maybe people who are casual boxing fans, or not even so much fans of boxing, but because, you know, information about this fight stretched out very far, I think what some people don't realize is, okay, I'll give you an example. You've got a kid who wants to become a boxer. He goes through all the steps to become a boxer, becomes an amateur, who knows, he goes to the Olympics. He either wins a medal or he doesn't, but he's experienced that at amateur level. He turns pro, and within 5 to 10 years, he's a global superstar. He's had to build his following. he's had to fight and be promoted, and they've had to build him up. And you know, within 10 years, this guy's a unified champion, a national hero, and a global superstar, right? If you think about the likes of Logan Paul, Jake Paul, KSI, and I think there's some other YouTubers who are all big YouTubers. Now imagine a guy who starts out in boxing has to build that up over however many years it takes. These guys who are jumping into boxing have a massive following. So you've got Jake Paul and Logan Paul and KSI, who I think have got tens of millions of subscribers each. If you're gonna host a fight between these guys, then potentially those are millions of eyes on the sport. So how is that a bad thing for boxing in general? Now, you could argue that in the future it could affect the quality of some of the matchups, because I think there's a legitimate cruiserweight world champion. I'm not sure of his name. You know, you can go back and have a look for yourselves and see exactly who it is. But he was calling out Jake Paul, and Lawrence Okoli was shaking his head. And it's obvious why he's calling out Jake Paul. And sadly enough, I find it incredible. Because look, Floyd Mayweather, when he got that major contract with Showtime, it was something crazy like 30 million a fight, 10 fight deal, or however many fights it was. But it was 30 million a fight. And however many fights it was, whether it was 10 or however many, it was against some legitimate guys, contenders, with a few killers in there too, I suspect. He made more fighting a YouTuber, and maybe he made more fighting a guy who was not even an out and out natural boxer. So I mean, boxing's a funny old game. And overall, you know, I think we got to give Jake Paul and Logan Paul a bit more credit, because they do not, also KSI, these guys do not need to box. They don't need to box. They've made a living without boxing. But KSI, not as much at the moment as Logan Paul and his brother Jay. Like, these guys seem to be all in at the moment, and they deserve credit for that. You know, anybody who's got the courage to step between the ropes, you've got to give them their dues. And yeah, I mean, I've seen Jake and Logan Paul over the years on the internet, and they're not my cup of tea, put it that way. But they deserve some credit for what they're doing. And yeah, I'd say that fight was a complete success. Floyd Mayweather's happy. You know what that means? That means he got paid. If Floyd's happy, that's because his pockets have just become that little bit deeper. And I don't know if he needs the money. I don't know what his real financial status is. Who knows? This guy could just be doing this for fun, you know, making that little bit of extra money to go in his pension pot. Not that he would appear to need it, but who knows? I don't believe that he got 100 million for this fight. Who knows how much he got, but I don't think it was 100 million. I guess we'll soon have a better picture of how much he was potentially paid when the accurate pay-per-view numbers come out. But that's me, and that's all I got to say about this subject. Thank you very much for tuning in to The Boxing Objective. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment, and I will catch you on the next video. Peace.